when it comes to suits, you'd realize that most of the suits that we formally wear, they're always in plain colors. I wanted to do something that I could introduce the African print.
Okay.
Because my theme for my cloth line is promoting the world of fashion. As a model, you must also have a scorecard so that people don't take advantage of you. So in the fashion industry, people take advantage of each other. Models are being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
People showcase things that are not even, they don't even have any meaning. But you know, because these people showcase things that are not even, they don't even have any meaning. But you know, because these people, you know, at the end of the day, we also have to think of people too. Whenever I'm trying to produce a design, how does it impact people positively? That is all the things that I have to consider. So sometimes it hurts when you see people coming up with designs, things that are not even making sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi guys, my name is Bill Clinton. I'm a fashion designer and a model. I'm also an event organizer. Welcome to Yetu, your home for entertainment and lifestyle things.
Hi Bill, how are you?
I am fine.
Can you introduce yourself by telling us a little bit about Bill Clinton?
Okay, I'm Bill Clinton Gani.
Yeah.
I come from Migori County and 28 years old. I'm a teacher by profession.
Yeah.
I teach English in the Kiswahili industry, but I diverted out of teaching. I do fashion and modeling. I am also an event organizer, so that is by passion.
Yeah.
But I love doing what I like. Yeah, so come from a family of 5, maybe the firstborn.
Yeah.
But I have a twin brother, so we are firstborns. And then we also have secondborns who are twins.
Yeah.
2 twin sisters, and then 1 single boy.
Okay.
I'm in a relationship,
Okay.
a serious one,
Okay.
but not yet married though.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Bill Clinton, for that nice background. So we'll start with our questions. My first question will be, how did you get into the world of fashion design and what inspired you to pursue this career? I've heard you have a nice background, so you can tell us a little bit about the culture you came from.
Okay, I think I loved fashion from when I joined campus. I had this guy called Dan Didamoma. I just used to love how he dressed in suits. That is when I started to have taste in fashion.
Yeah.
So I think I got to understand that there are things that I could change in the fashion industry, like being creative and changing some things the way people view it. I didn't want to be too natural, too common to people. So I think I joined fashion to at least be a change to the fashion world. Yeah.
So that was your inspiration to join this career?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Can you describe your design style and aesthetic and what sets your creations apart from others in the industry because you have other people working with it?
Well, when it comes to suits, you'd realize that most of the suits that we formally wear, they're always in plain colors. But then I wanted to do something that I could introduce the African print.
Okay.
Because my theme for my cloth line is promoting the world of fashion and at least identifying the role of the youth in promoting the creative human society.
Okay.
So mostly it's about promoting the African fabrics and then promoting our culture. I always want to put our culture first.
Interesting. So you mentioned you have a cloth line. Would you mind
Yes.
telling us a little bit about that? Maybe the name of the brand?
Okay, the name of the brand is Dreamers at Clinton Gani.
Okay.
Yeah, my outfits, I always want them to have African prints. So like for most people, if you could have watched Young Rich Famous African, the movie, you can identify my prints with the Andile. Andile, the actor, you realize when he was in the wedding, the suit had some African prints on the arm, the trouser had African prints on the trouser, then there was on the belt was also some African prints. So you realize it's just not a common suit, but it's a suit or an official cloth with an African print. So that is most of what I do.
So you worked on that specific suit from Dreamer or under Dreamer's brand?
Yeah, actually I've not launched officially.
Okay.
That is why I didn't come with one of them to the show.
Okay.
But I want to launch it officially, then at least people could get to understand the thing for that.
Yeah, and then we can purchase some.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Next question would be about what's your creative process like when coming up with the new fashion collections or designs that you're talking about? It's a beautiful idea to have culture in our suits and all. So what is your thought process when you're doing this or your creative process?
Generally, I would say that my creative thoughts are I always want to create something that is cheap and affordable to the common people. We're in a world where people focus more on other things than maybe dressing because the economy is too tough for us. So sometimes I want to create something that will be affordable to people, but people would also look nice and awesome. So I think my clothes are cheap and they are easy to design. Somebody can also design on themselves. It's just about being creative on how you want to do something. So mostly I create them in my mind. I draw the designs. When I watch a lot of movies too, I see designs. I also draw them and improve them better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Are there any fashion designers or fashion icons who have had a significant influence on your work? I've heard you mention people you've worked with. Now, is there any specific fashion designer or an icon? Globally, can be globally or internationally or here locally?
Well, here locally, I think I know of Ashok Sani. I've worked for Ashok Sani.
Awesome.
And I've also worked for Reina. That was now in JW show. JW show is also promoting African outfits. I've been a model there because I think I've been a model for the last 3 years. So when I get to showcase other designers' outfits, I learn what to do and improve them. So right now, let me say I just love Ashok Sani's designs.
Internationally, do you have anyone you look up to as a fashion icon?
No.
No.
No, I don't focus much on them.
Oh, you don't focus much on them. What is the reason? Maybe it's because you, as you said, you are trying to bring the African theme. And is there anyone else doing that you have seen in the, internationally or globally that is doing the same, but with their culture maybe?
Not internationally.
Okay.
I think there's someone who also motivates me.
Okay.
She was Miss World Kenya popularity. The last contest. That is Bruna. Bruna also owns a cloth line called Flamingo. Her designs are awesome, but mostly I don't always focus on the African, the other cultures. But I always want to focus on the African, so I don't always get the prints that I always desire on them, but I get them here in Kenya and in Africa.
Alright, I totally understand now why. My next question would be, how do you stay updated with the latest fashion trends and technologies in the industry now that every single day we are waking up there's a new technology in the entire world? Specifically in fashion, there are different technologies coming up in the industry. So how do you stay updated with that, especially in the African continent?
I watch a lot of fashion shows.
I
also attend a lot of them physically, and being a model I also showcase so much about them. So I also have friends who are models. So whenever I'm on social media, I'm on the shows, so I get to know what is trending and why it's trending and what is the reason behind its modification. So that is how I keep myself updated.
Alright. Is there any technology that you have identified in the industry that is maybe taking the next, is going to evolve the industry, the fashion industry to be specific?
I'm not so sure, unless the one that I'm starting.
Okay, the one that you're starting.
Because I think that the dreamers, I'm creating an app for dreamers that will bring all designers together. So it will be an app like maybe let me say JG or Jumia, where designers can sell their designs, send to me, and maybe I think that is maybe something that has never been introduced because when it comes to clothesline,
Yeah.
when you can find an app that you use for your designs, you can find all the designs there. It's just for clothing, then that would be better.
That is very interesting. Maybe as a techie, I'm definitely sold because honestly, I've not seen any application or any technology that's bringing fashion industry together.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what I was specific on our questions actually.
Thank you.
So that's interesting, and we hope to see more of that in future, especially the application. Once you're launching it, please call by Yetu to be there and support.
Definitely.
Yes, and to market it, of course.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Could you share some memorable moments or experience from your journey as a fashion designer? What is the most outstanding memory you have in your entire career? One that comes to your mind when you hear a memory, even if you're on stage, modeling or selling, yeah.
Let me say, it's not about. Let me just say that it's not about memory. Okay, it's not something with what I was doing.
Yeah.
There's this time that I used to work at the parliament. So during that time, when was that? That was way back in 2 years ago. I remember getting into the Intercontinental office, and then I met Sosion, and then he just called me and said, Kijana, you're so smart. And then from there, he bought me lunch. So I was like, wow. So if me being smart can get me whatever I want, then I felt like I should always be smart.
Yeah, sure. Interesting. That's an interesting one. I mean, getting to be acknowledged by people in higher ranks and stuff. Yeah, so I from my discussion with you before even we proceed is that you have a vast experience, years of experience, in your vast experience, how would you rate it? Like, how many years do you have in terms of experience in the fashion industry?
In the fashion industry, I would say I started this in 2014.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So 2014 is a long way.
Yeah.
But I was not so much into it by then because I was just doing pageant modeling. Then until I joined iFashion, that was in 2018. So from 2018 to 2023, I've been doing fashions. I've been doing skins.
Yeah.
That is now skins we used to model with the vitiligos. So that is also an identity that also brings out the print of a design.
Yeah.
So we learn to appreciate each other, but I think I can say that let me say about 5 years. Yeah.
5 years. That's interesting. Now, the fact that you already have this more than 5 years, actually, I would say more than 5 years of experience, and you have such beautiful dreams about the fashion industry. You're actually the future of fashion industry, especially with the Dreamers app. Yeah. What advice would you give to an aspiring fashion designer who is looking forward to make their mark in the fashion industry? So there are so many people who look up to you and say, I wish I could work in the parliament, I wish I could work with those people that you mentioned in Kina, Sharks and whatever. Nice. And how would you now, what is the best advice, maybe if you were to narrow it to at least one or two advices you would give them? To somebody who's trying to mark their mark, not just exist in the fashion industry or be a designer, but to mark, you mark their history there.
I think one, I would add somebody to be confident in whatever he or she believes in, and put more effort to it. And always, I'll advise somebody to always be creative. Yeah. Always think of being creative.
Yeah.
Repetition is not always a good. Yeah. Once you come with something creative, people will admire it, people will buy it. It doesn't matter how it looks like, but there are people, the individuals in our society that will acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we are starting design, so when you're in the runway, of course pageant modeling has a lot of challenges, because nowadays people come up with different contests. People just form ideas in their mind, but then they use models to market for themselves. So as a model, you must also have a scorecard so that people don't take advantage of you. So in the fashion industry, people take advantage of each other. The models are being taken advantage of mostly. So I'd just like to add the models. You don't have to do it if it's going to pin you down or going to be used negatively. You don't have to, because it's something that you're doing for passion.
Yeah. Alright, that's interesting. I hope our audience can pick that. That's very, very interesting for people who really want to just mark their mark in the fashion industry and to do better than the existing designers. Alright, can you talk about any sustainable or ethical practices you incorporate into your designs and plan? When you're doing your designs, there's something always at the back of your mind that you think and say, ethically, I would want to communicate this to the world. Using my work, I would want the world to learn this. So, what are those sustainable and practices, ethical practices that you just are incorporating in your designs every single day?
First of all, I think maybe personal dignity.
Mm-hmm.
How you put on yourself, how you dress yourself, must always show who you really are.
Yeah.
So sometimes we put on stuff that maybe people can't appreciate. Not everybody will appreciate them because it shows the whole of you. So sometimes in my designs, I always don't like that. So I always value personal dignity, someone's personal dignity. And maybe that I don't have much, but for the prints that I really focus on is the African part of it, the kitenges. So mostly when I design weddings, I always want that African print to show on my print. So in my designs, and every time that I'm always designing something, I always think of promoting the African culture. Yeah.
And how do you handle the challenges and pressure that come with work in the fast-paced fashion industry? If fashion is moving every single day, there are challenges. You might wake up and see this looks irrelevant sometimes. Does that happen? I don't know. Now you tell us about the challenges that you have faced and how you overcome them.
Of course it happens. People just create designs and then they call them designs. People showcase things that they don't even have any meaning. But because it's just like a brand. Let's talk of assuming Sony. There's Samsung. And then besides Sony and Samsung, there's also Vitron, there's also Essence. So people say, once somebody finds out that he or she has a brand already and is a big name, they just do designs because they think people will just follow. So sometimes it's challenging because you see people taking advantage of others so long as they do them. But at the end of the day, we also have to think of people too. Whenever I'm trying to produce a design, how does it impact people positively? That is all the things that I have to consider. So sometimes it hurts when you see people coming up with designs still that are not even making sense.
Okay. That's very interesting. I have specific questions about maybe the pressures that you guys encounter. I've seen this from one of the ladies who does a lot of the models and the social media personalities. Have you ever had now the pressures from clients? Maybe you have a wedding and they give you a lot of pressure at once, or somebody brings a late order and there's a lot of pressure for you to work on that specific piece. Have you maybe experienced such pressures and how do you overcome them?
Mostly pressures comes during weddings. There's always a lot of pressure. So when pressure comes during that time, I think mostly I don't always have a lot of pressure personally, because I will always want to be direct with my client. I always want to tell you this design will be ready by this and then. So I don't want to always disappoint. If it's not, it will not be able to be. If it will not be ready by then I'll just call you and tell you it will not be ready by this certain time. So one challenge that designers face is they lie a lot. Somebody has a lot of workload, but they still want to get some more. So I would rather have just a simple work done, but it's perfect. So mostly, yes, I have had challenges because sometimes people bring in designs they don't even want. Somebody brings a design, but then they modify them through a phone call, and it's so tough to come up with that same design that they want. So those are some challenging things. So sometimes you disappoint people, but not that you want to disappoint them, but because maybe they don't clarify themselves.